Hello everyone, Dokiller here, and welcome to another random Minecraft video. You may notice that today's video is a bit different from my usual format. In this video I'm going to be doing more of a discussion than any actual gameplay. So in the background I just have some Dalek Mod survival gameplay. In this video I'm going to be talking about the future of the Dalek Mod, mostly features that are planned to be added to future updates. With so many people making videos about the Minecraft 1.12 update right now that snapshots have started to be released for that, I thought why not do something similar for the Dalek mod. I want to be clear right away, the features that I am listing here are not necessarily for the next update to the mod, update 46. Most of them will simply be for an update sometime in the future. So there are several features that are confirmed to be added into future updates, and most of the information that I will be presenting today is coming from the SWD forums, where there's a lot of discussion about the Dalek mod. I will have numerous links in the description to forum threads that I have obtained this information from, and that will go into much more detail than I will, so be sure to check them out if you're interested. The first thing that I want to say is that all features from past versions of the mod that are not in the current version, update 45 for 1.8, will be put back in. So a lot of people have been asking, why did you remove this feature? Why did you take out that feature? First off, none of these features have technically been removed from the mod. They are still in playable versions of the mod. You can go back to older versions, Minecraft versions, and still play with these features. They're just haven't been updated to the current version of the mod. And secondly, it is confirmed that all features will be updated and put into the most recent version of the mod in due time. So everything from past versions will indeed be put back. They may not be back in the exact same way. When the Dalek mod was updated to 1.8, it had to be completely rewritten from scratch. So all these new features presumably will be as well. So the mod developers may take this as an opportunity to update some features or change the way some things were in the past. So the TARDIS force field may have new features to go with it, or the Time Lords may have a completely new way of working than they did in 1.7. This has been asked so many times by a lot of people, so I wanted to be clear to start this video off. Everything that was once in the mod that's not in the most current version will eventually be put into the most current version of the mod at some future point in time. So tying into this, one such feature was in the 1.5 mod loader version of the mod, and was never updated to the Forge version, and this is Davros. So some of you may remember him being in the mod in the past. He was a bit before my time. He's a very popular requested feature, and it just makes sense to have a Dalek mod with the creator of the Daleks in it. So some things about Davros, he does have a texture in the mod's jar file, and I've heard that he even has a model. So he's been hinted at returning to the mod several times. There was a hint for the 2-year anniversary update, I think, and then we saw a teaser of him at the very end in a cliffhanger at the end of the Update 39 video, hinting that he would be in Update 40. However, at that time, the mod updated to 1.8, and therefore he wasn't added. So the thing with Davros is he's such a huge part of Doctor Who, and would be a huge part of the mod, that the developers don't want to just put him into the mod. So, it's like, oh, here's Davros, he looks at you and sits in his wheelchair, I think the developers want to give him some special features in addition to just adding him in. So maybe a important boss battle, or a special place where he could spawn at, or maybe being able to ride in his chair like the 12th Doctor did. And so that's presumably why updating him has been taking so long. It's such a big feature, you don't just want to put him in there, you want a lot of things to go along with him. The next thing I want to talk about is something that will be in the next update of the mod, and that is brand new Dalek models. So this is absolutely huge. There is a whole thread on the SWD site that goes into a lot more detail than I'm going to give here. But basic overview of this is that with all the detail going to the newer models that have been put in the mod, the developers feel that the current Dalek mod models and textures are a bit out of place. That they're too simple and there's not enough detail in them. So they're going to be overhauling the models to keep the general look of the Daleks the same, but to add a lot more detail. So more balls on the outside, better textures, and even new arm attachments that will give the Daleks different abilities. So there are going to be two different types of Dalek models that are going to be added. There's a 2B variant, which will look a bit more like the current Daleks in the mod, but with 2 balls on the sides, but with more detail. And then there's a 4B variant, which will add 4 balls on the side, and each Dalek is going to have 1 of each model. So I'm not sure the exact details as to the whole 2B 4B thing and how that's going to work, but we'll definitely find out in the next update. And they're also going to be adding in a new system that will arrange for models to be added easier in resource packs. So if you wanted to stick with the old Dalek Mod models that are in the current version, you'll be able to add those in a resource pack much easier. So this update is probably going to be the biggest overhaul in the mod's history. I mean, every Dalek is going to be looking different in the next update. So the last time we had a Dalek model change, I think, was in 1.6.4 update 25, where the 60s Daleks got a new model. But it's never been something like this, where every Dalek is going to look different next time we update the mod. So this is really big. And if you want to check out these models and what they look like, or provide suggestions for development, give your own opinions, anything like that, the link to the thread is in the description. I personally am really looking forward to this change because I really like the way the new models look. It's a great way of adding a lot more detail and still keeping the old Dalek mod feel. And I'll definitely ask the pink fluffy Dalek what it thinks of this change and get back to you guys about that. But this feature is confirmed, as I said, for the next update, update 46. That is really awesome. So the next feature that I'm going to be talking about is a really big one that everybody asks for, and no, it's not story mode, it's bigger on the inside. So how can you really have a proper working TARDIS without this, right? On the SWD channel a while ago, you've probably seen this video. The two Johns were showing off the bigger on the inside feature that they were working on. They opened up the doors and you could see it was bigger on the inside, and so this is a really, as I said, huge feature. It takes a lot of code to write, and it's pretty hard to code in, I would imagine. I mean, I do some coding myself, and I haven't the faintest idea where to start in a feature of this size. If we look into the mod's jar file, we can see a folder called BOTI, bigger on the inside. I believe this is for this feature, and there's just a whole bunch of different classes. So when you're coding, generally it's one or two classes for a single item or something. Some features may take a few more. I never got into too in-depth coding, but something that takes as many classes to write, as much code to write as this feature, is absolutely huge. And because there's so much code with this, obviously there's going to be a lot of bugs that might be involved with this feature. And it is such a huge thing to add into the mod. It's something that, honestly, the developers would want to get working perfectly before they added it. Otherwise, people are going to complain. So they really want this to get working perfectly, to get all the code to run smoothly before they add it in. With so much code to write, it's going to take a while to do that. So I imagine that's why it's been taking so long to get this feature out. But this is something that is confirmed for a future update, and hopefully it comes sometime soon. But we'll find out when it comes out. So the next thing I want to be talking about is a very big feature of the mod, and that's the TARDIS. So what's confirmed in respect to the TARDIS is that every variant of the TARDIS interior we've seen in the show Doctor Who is going to be added, as well as a few additional variants. I think the Ronnie's TARDIS might have been confirmed, things like that. So what's definitely been talked about, the 1980s TARDIS has been confirmed since its exterior was added in December 2014, and at the same time there was talk of the 8th Doctor's TARDIS, and also a LEGO Dimensions TARDIS has been confirmed to go with the exterior that's in the mod. So one of the key development features with the TARDIS interiors that the mod developers want from them is for them to be as accurate to the show as possible. So when I was talking about past features from the mod returning, things like the 9th, 10th Doctor interior from the 1.7 version that UDWF1 built, it's not entirely accurate, so I don't think if that interior gets re-added to the mod, it's going to look at all like the one in the 1.7 version. They're probably going to add it with a lot more models and everything, make it look a bit like the Toyota TARDIS that was added in Update 44. So, and 1WTC said that TARDIS was a pain to code, to quote him, and so if it's going to be taking a while to add these new accurate interiors, therefore, if it's really hard to code them in. So they might be coming out a bit slower, but every interior is confirmed to come in at some point in time. So the person who's really making a lot of the models for these interiors is a guy named Ford. And he made all the models for the Toyota TARDIS in the last update, for instance. And he's also working on the design of the TARDIS interiors, I believe. And so he's got this huge model making thread on the SWD site showing off all the models that he's made for Doctor Who and for other things. And on this thread we can get some previews for what he's been modeling for the mod. Nothing that he's put up there I think is actually confirmed, but there are things that might possibly be added into the mod at some future point in time. So you can check his thread out. It's in the description. You can even provide some model suggestions if you want to. But the reason I bring this thread up, not just for advertisement for Ford, but it's also that lately he's been releasing some screenshots and teaser shots of these interiors that he's been modeling. And I mean, like, the walls are modeled and everything. These just look like really awesome interiors. So I don't know if these are going to be added into the mod or if this is just something he's doing for fun, but he's definitely released some screenshots, and I think they look just some really awesome interiors. So it's quite possible that some of these may wind up in the mod at some point in time, but we'll find out. So there may be some new TARDIS interiors coming very soon. So the next thing I want to talk about also ties into the TARDIS, but it's not with the interior, but the exterior. So a while back, 1WTC made a thread about a feature he's been working on that will allow you to paint the TARDIS. And so this is really neat. It's one of those customized things that have been going to the mod recently, like the ability to paint on or to draw on the chalkboards and that. So you'd be able to paint a TARDIS interior. I'm not sure how it'll work exactly, but maybe you can take an existing model for a TARDIS exterior and be able to just draw your own colors on there and just customize it completely. So you can be able to show that off in the server or whatever, and it's just really cool. I imagine you'd be able to save the different interiors that you paint on there and that. It's just a really nice creative detail that would be awesome to have in the mod. As a survival person myself, I'd personally like to see stuff like dimensions and ores and dungeons and things like that added before seeing this, but it's definitely an awesome feature that I would love to see at some point in the future, and it's been talked about for a while, so it's confirmed again for some point in the future, not the next update, but a future update, so hopefully we have that to look forward to soon as well. The next thing I want to talk about is regeneration. So this is a feature that we know 1WTC was working on quite a while back. We've even seen a preview of it in a live stream, and it was kind of a couple hearts in the corner of the screen if I remember correctly, but a lot of the exact details of this feature were unknown. So how this was going to work, I believe, was when you would die, you would have the option to regenerate, and therefore you'd keep your items and experience, you'd get a full set of health again, I believe, and you wouldn't just die there on the spot like you ordinarily would, but you would have limited number of regenerations, just like Time Lords do, and you'd only be able to do this so many times, so you'd have to pick the best opportunities to regenerate in that. So this is one of those features that, as I've been talking about, past features returning, but in different forms, and this one probably a drastically different form. So when I first started playing the mod, regeneration was added by River Song's Diary, and you could right-click that, and you'd get a doctor skin, and there'd be a particle effect in that. And before that, in the mod loader, I think I've seen a screenshot of this, there was a GUI, I think, that you could select skins from. And this feature has kind of been replaced by the skin pack system in the 1.8 version of the mod, so I'm not sure. Obviously, the regeneration feature may come back in a very different form from what we've seen in the past, but I haven't really seen or heard anything of it in a while, but I like to think that it's still being worked on and that it's still going to be added into the future. So the last thing that I want to talk about is something that will be in the next update, and that is a suggestion on the SWD forums by Endless Time Lord. He suggested a statue block that when right-clicked, a GUI would come up, and it would enable the player to select from all the models in the mod and then be able to pose them, and then the block would turn into that model after you exit the GUI. So it's just a purely decorative statue block that would make my Dalek statue video obsolete. And this was confirmed by 1WTC that he's written this into the mod and that it will be added in Update 46. So that's a few of the items and features that will be added into the mod either in the next update or at some future point. And if you have any suggestions, you can put them into the suggestions section on the SWD forums, and you can see what the community thinks of them. And who knows, they may even be added into the mod. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Let me know what you think of this new format. I kind of borrowed it from IBX Toy Cat on YouTube. It's sort of like his format there, and I do kind of borrow formats from other people, like I did with UDWF1 and the update videos and that. But again, let me know if you like this style of video or not. And if you did, you can leave a like, that would really help me out, and it would let me know that you'd like to see me make more videos in this general format. But thanks, as always, guys, for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. So goodbye for now.